Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs. So let's get to it. All right, you guys. So I can't be on here long because Jada has to take the studio. She's going to she's got to be somewhere, and you know, her car is down. We're actually about to buy her a new car, and in between her tearing up Joe's tire and all of that, you know, I was like, just take my Jeep. I would rather you be in something big and sturdy, you know, that you can't tear up quite as easily. So until I get her something. So anyway, I gotta hurry up and get through this video. So let's see, what are we talking about? Let's talk about Terry Crews. Terry Crews was never somebody that I didn't like. You know, he was a lot, you know, he was extra, but you know, it was always the type of person that he played in the different movies or whatever he was. You know, he was just somebody we can laugh at, but I didn't have a problem with Terry Crews. You know, I knew he had his family, his wife, his kids. You know, he seemed like he was a cool enough guy, you know, maybe a little bit extra for me, but you know, fine. Terry has been in the news, of course, and we knew about him supposedly being, well, not supposedly, it was confirmed that he had been sexually harassed by somebody who had grabbed his ding at a party, you know, and he hadn't spoken out, and you know, people gave him the blues about that, teased him about it, made him not feel like a man. I feel like black women definitely came to his defense and, you know, really tried to be there for him as he struggled, because many black men were teasing him and were saying mean things about the fact that who lets another man just grab your junk like that and you don't say nothing. So I kind of feel like we was trying to be there for him. But, you know, he's progressively gotten worse, making stupid decisions and saying dumb things, you know. More recently, he got into it with Gabrielle Union because Gabrielle Union had claimed that NBC had been racist against her. They was racially harassing her, including Simon Cowell. We know him from American Idol. He's now on America's Got Talent, and he's part of the production team. I believe he's one of the producers, and so she was having problems with him as well. So when she came out and said that, Terry had to make it a point. Now look, you can definitely say, oh, I haven't had those kind of issues with NBC. That may be Gabrielle's experience. It may be Nick Cannon's experience, because Gabrielle was not the first one to say it. So Terry could have very easily said, well, that wasn't my experience. You know, that may have been Gabrielle's experience. It wasn't mine. That would have been fine. But what he did was, not only did he say that it wasn't his experience, but he almost threw Gabrielle Union under the bus by implying that she was just seeing things, like it didn't really happen. And that was the problem that I had with Terry. It's just like, Terry, you can't speak on what Gabrielle's saying. You know, if she said it happened to her, then you know, okay, it didn't happen to you, but it happened to me. So don't tell me it didn't happen to me when it happened to me, you know? So when he started with that, I was just like, oh God, what is wrong with you, Terry? Well, now Terry has come and let me see if I can find the tweet. You know, Terry's all about equality, okay? He wants everybody to be treated equal, and that's fine. That is perfectly fine. But let me tell you what he ended up tweeting. I feel like Jada's gonna come out here any minute. Okay, and this is a quote. Any black person who calls me a coon or an Uncle Tom for promoting equality is a black supremacist, because they have determined who's black and who is not. Look, I ain't got time to be trying to talk to Terry about black people being coons. And when people call you a coon or an Uncle Tom, we are not saying that you're not black. What we're saying is you're black and you don't know it. There's a difference. I'm not gonna call the man a coon, and I'm not calling him an Uncle Tom, but he's so very in his quest to just be like, yes sir, boss. What you say, boss? What you need, boss? You need some water, boss? Are you hungry, boss? Are you thirsty, boss? In his quest to just be so agreeable with the white people that have put him in place, you know, he's so happy to have a fucking job, that he is just completely missing the mark here. I don't know if we calling him an Uncle Tom because he's promoting equality. It's just that you're so eager to go against another black woman who's saying her experience as a black woman in NBC, you know, and you are just in no way being supportive. You don't have to be supportive. All you have to just say is that was not my experience. You know, now I don't know if they done really got on Terry and just been like, Terry, now you need to go on and say that we've been real good white people to you, that we've been real supportive to you. I don't know if they didn't put it in his ear like that or what, but he just seems to just be doing so much extra just to prove that at least the good people at the NBC, you know, they are good to him, you know, this big black man. So I don't know, child. I don't know what to say about Terry now. He just seems to dig his hole deeper and deeper. And it's such not a good look for him. But I don't know how he can get out of it, child. I don't know. I do not know. But he just says some dumb ass shit. And that one, the black supremacists. Black people, you guys cannot be racist. Please put that in your head. You do not have the power to oppress a group. We don't have the power, so we cannot be racist. We can have our prejudices, you know, we can have our problems with different groups of people, but you cannot be racist. So don't keep using that. Don't say that, because it don't make no damn sense. Racist people or racism or the process of systemic racism means that you have had the power to systematically oppress an entire group of people. And it's happened for generations and generations. That's the system in place. It's harder for black people to get out of that. That is what racism is. And that's why black people cannot be that. There's plenty of black people that have come out of all of that. I understand that too. But you guys, the true definition of it, you cannot be. Okay, so, all right. I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys, okay? But yeah, Terry Crews, I'm gonna need him to just be quiet for a little while, child. I just want him to just take a little napsy. Serena husband, Alexis Ohanian, is that his name? He has decided to step down from Reddit. You guys know he was one of the co-creators for Reddit. He made an obscene amount of money from Reddit. He was on the board and he decided to step down. He said he wants to make the world a better place for his daughter, his mixed baby with Serena. Okay, Serena Williams, the tennis player. So Alexis has stepped down. He urged the board members to hire somebody black in his place. And they just announced yesterday that the CEO of Y Combinator, Michael Siebel, Seibel, is the person who will be taking Alexis's place. Okay, now evidently this Michael gentleman is very well versed, very well knowledgeable, and they just say a pretty good guy in the tech industry. He used to work for Y Combinator. I don't know what that is, but in the tech industry, I'm sure if you guys are out there, you guys would know what that is. He's been friends with Alexis and the other co-owner, I think his name is Steve, for over 10 years. And they brought him in because they just said that he's very, very smart and he is going to be able to further the Reddit app and the Reddit, agenda or whatever it is there that they plan to do for the company. So they seem to be very happy with Michael. He's a black guy that they feel is going to benefit the company. And good for Alexis. I mean, he's obscenely rich. I mean, how much money do you need to have at this point? Your wife is extremely rich. He's extremely rich. So, I'm sure Alexis was just like, I can do something else. Okay, let me let another black person have a shot at this. And for that, good. Okay, we'll see if other companies that have board members that are also co-owners or something like that will follow suit. Alexis believes that this would be a right step in the right direction for many of these large companies to show that they're willing to bring some diversity into their boards and keep it from being lily white, basically. So that is that. Let's move on to the next story. Let's talk about B. Simone real quickly. We're not going to spend too much time on this because we ain't got that kind of energy. Okay. B. Simone was being interviewed by Nick Cannon, And I'm not sure what the rest of the interview was about. I just saw the little clip, so that's what we going on here today, you guys. If she said more, I'm sorry. But the clip that I saw was basically B. Simone doesn't want a 9-to-5 man because they cannot understand her lifestyle, that she's a hustler, she's working at 3 o'clock in the morning. A 9-to-5 man wouldn't understand that, so she just can't have somebody. Like, she has to have a CEO, she has to have a hustler, she has, you know, look, I'm not gonna knock the girl. Whatever her preference is fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having an honest working, honest earning 9-to-5 man in your house. You know, for all intents and purposes, a man that works 9-to-5 is at home in the evenings with his family. Okay, it leaves less room for a whole bunch of indiscretions, right? So, and there's plenty of 9-to-5 men who make a lot of money. I work with men who work, and I don't even know if I would call it work, from 9 to fucking 5, but they make good money, you know, maybe not in large amounts, like, you know, something, you know, when you're a hustler, there's times when you might have a plethora of money, and then there's times where it might not be, you know. I myself prefer the consistency, look, I can't get my words out. The consistency and the stability of having a man who has a check that I know how much it's going to be, so I can fucking pay these bills and we can know that it's going to be the same. Okay. It's all about what you prefer. Okay. B. Simone, I think more the issue that a lot of people have with her is that she seems to, a lot of times when people make it like that, okay, then they start to kind of forget where they came from. You know, all of a sudden you got this mentality that well, people may see it like this, that all of a sudden that you're in this mentality that you're too good for a certain type of person, even though you used to be that type of person. But now that you kind of risen, you know, and then you can even say then it's not a problem to change your circle when you've gone from being down here to being up here. You know, you change your circle, you're around people up here that do that. So, you know, it's not bad that she wants to have a person that's like that. It's just, I think it's all in the way of just in your mind kind of cutting yourself off from men that may be very good guys. You may have cut yourself off from them because, you know, in this quest to be with a guy that, you know, works in the club. Okay, he's a promoter, so he's at the club all night. And then gets off at 4 o'clock in the morning and then goes and have breakfast with a whole bunch of women, and who knows how that happens, what happens there. And then he shows up at home at 7 o'clock in the morning, you getting up to go to work, and, you know, so I mean, it's just all a preference. I think just B. Simone is just a little kind of starts to be annoying now. You know, I think that people just don't like to listen because she's just can be annoying. I don't really follow her, so I don't know much. All I know is that she's always talking about sucking somebody's ding. Okay, and that she's been after the baby for a long time. That's all I know about B. Simone. But what do you guys think? Were you guys listening to what she was saying? Did you understand what she was saying? It's nothing really wrong with what she was saying. I think it's just that the mentality that only men who hustle have money is, well, she didn't even really say that. She said the lifestyle. But when you say the lifestyle, you also have to include the fact that they would have money that, you know, would support her lifestyle. So, but you guys let me know what you thought about that. But honey, she had got a whole bunch of people upset. And then, you know, people that supported her had to do a video with her and, you know, all of this. And people, I was just like, child, do the hustler have benefits? That's what do the nigga got insurance? Okay. What's going to happen when I got to go into the hospital and get something worked on? That's the most important of this whole conversation. Because do you know what a medical bill costs? Have you ever looked at a medical bill? I'm fucking fighting with Kaiser right now. You know, Mr. Hedden got a damn knee brace. And I got the bill, and that motherfucking knee brace, now it's a regular knee brace, ain't got boning in it or nothing. The knee brace is $413 on the bill. $413. I called Kaiser. I said, now we could have went to fucking Costco and bought us a damn knee brace for $60, and you guys are billing me for $413 for a knee brace. Are you kidding me? We are not paying that. So I've been going back and forth with them trying to dispute this, because if they would have told Mr. that the fucking knee brace was $413, he would have limped his ass up out of there. Okay, so my whole thing is, do she got insurance with this hustler that she, you know, is planning on hooking up with? All right, you guys, I don't really know much about Vanderpump Rules, but I'm going to just go by what I wrote down here. So you guys, I'm gonna be looking down the most time. So they, Faith Stowers, or Stowers, I'm assuming is a black girl that was on Vanderpump Rules. She has come out with a story that said that 2 of her castmates had reported her to the police for a crime that she didn't commit. She had nothing to do with it, but evidently the police were looking for this black girl who had committed some crime, some theft, and her castmates had reported her, okay? And that was Stacy Schroeder and Kristen Doubt. And they did that to harass her, because I believe they realized that it wasn't her, but they did that because I guess they had a problem with this girl. Well, 2 weeks after the story came out, Bravo has now fired Stacy and Kristen, okay? And they also fired Max Boyens and Brett Caprioni because of some racist tweets that they have put out recently. Evidently, those 2 guys weren't really liked on the show either. So Bravo was probably already kind of maybe considering putting them off. But now those 4 people are off of the show. And I guess this is trying to show that Bravo is just having no tolerance for racism and things. But it's interesting, because I have heard stories that there have been things that these girls had said in the past, like a long time ago. And that, or maybe it was this story had happened a long time ago, and Bravo knew about it, but now are just now releasing them. If that is the case, then Bravo is only doing it because of the recent state of affairs and the temperature of the country right now. And so what does that really say about Bravo? You was willing to let them be, racially harassing this girl back 2 years ago or something when it may have happened, but now all of a sudden you let them go. So I think that's what people are having the problem with. But if they're going to do that, then there's a lot. I mean, we can think of a lot of the shows, even Real Housewives of Atlanta, where the girls have said probably some things that can be considered a little bit racist. Okay, and we can think about Kim Zolciak, and we can think of not necessarily racist, but Nene saying some things about gay people. And so it's going to be interesting if they're going to really go through the whole lineup of the Bravo shows and kind of be picking at who is saying what. Nene has been posting about it or tweeting about it, and others of the other members of the different shows on Bravo have also been weighing in on it. And I'm just going to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, Vanderpump, I guess the show is going through a bunch of different changes, because they done got rid of the lady that has the place, right? They got rid of her. Well, they got rid of her on Real Housewives. I'm assuming she's still on Vanderpump. Lisa Vanderpump. But yeah, so y'all, if you know more about that story, y'all just go on and throw it in there, because I don't watch Vanderpump or Real Housewives of, what is she, in New York? So I don't really know much about that story, but you guys wanted me to report it. So that's it. Stacy, Kristen, Max, and Brett are out. All right, you guys, we saw a video, a short video of Tekashi 6ix9ine with Akon. They were listening to Locked Up. Tekashi had on his special rainbow lace front, looking like a fucking I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. He looked a mess, okay? And it almost feels like stunts and shows with him. I feel like, okay, I'm not gonna even go there with Tekashi 6ix9ine. You guys know how I don't really like him, so I'm gonna leave it alone. But anyway, they're doing, they were listening to Locked Up, and it kind of gave you the impression that these two are about to collab on something, or that Tekashi is about to take a sample of Locked Up for a song that he has coming out soon. And I was just like, oh, as if we needed that. When the video posted, Tory Lanez, it was on Shade Room where I saw it. Tory Lanez went into the comments and was like, oh my God, you know, like, how you just gonna give him the sample, talking to Akon, like how you gonna give the sample to Tekashi, you know, when I guess Tory Lanez had wanted it at some time. Well, Spectacular from Pretty Ricky, talk about 6 degrees of separation, right? Spectacular from Pretty Ricky comes out and into the comments, and he says, well, you should have just stole it like you stole the sample from some other song, which was a Pretty Ricky song. Okay, well, Tory Lanez came back and said that he paid for that sample. All right, so he did not steal it. Well, Spectacular doubled down and said, you did not. I own my masters. You did not pay for it. Okay, well, you guys know Tory Lanez now. If he ain't got shit else to do, he got time. So he gonna post the receipts of the paperwork of how much he paid for this sample for the song. You guys, I don't know the song because I don't know Tory Lanez music. I don't know Pretty Ricky music like that unless it comes on the radio and somebody says that's them. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, that's them. But I don't know it right off the top of my head like that. And proof that he paid for it. Now, that's Spectacular. Now, remember, he said that he stole it. Well, then he comes back and Spectacular got all these other problems with Tory Lanez about some shit that he had did that had nothing to do with this song. And what we were talking about in particular was that Tory Lanez had supposedly stole the sample from Pretty Ricky. So then Spectacular is all in his feelings. Like, I said what I said. I know I'm on my masters. You know, you paid for that, but you did this, that, and the other. You know, I was with you and I was like, but Spectacular, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, one thing. You said he stole it and he didn't. And that's all that we're talking about here. Whatever other emotions that you guys are going through, you know, maybe you could handle that off of social media. But it all still boils down to you said the man stole it, he didn't. That's all we really care about. So it was a whole bunch of drama going on there. But, you know, Tory Lanez is always super petty. And he, you know, after he posted the receipt, he was just like, I'm gonna just leave this here and I'm gonna go on about my business. But back to Tekashi. Him and Nicki Minaj, they have a song together. I think it's called Trolls. The song, didn't it come out before he went to jail? I may be wrong, but I think that they didn't get to promote it the way that they wanted to. So now they're starting to promote it and you see the pictures of him and it just seems like, I just felt a little sad. Why is she working with him? I don't like that. I don't want her to work with him. Come on, Nicki. Come on, Nicki. We want to hear Nicki. We don't want to hear Nicki and Tekashi. You guys, 22-year-old and Drake University graduate Kennedy Mitchum. She just recently graduated. She emailed Merriam-Webster Dictionary quite a few times because she had a problem with the way racism was defined in the dictionary. She had been emailing them on and off for some while, and finally last week she just emailed them again. She felt like it was not a true representation of what was going on in the world today. She wanted them to change it. Well, she got an email back the next day from the editor, Alex Chambers, and he agreed with her and said that they actually were working with the editors, that, you know, after he and her went back and forth a little bit, they were able to agree on what the definition should be and that it was going to actually be changed. So that actually is really good. Okay, that's really a fist pump of righteousness for that Black Girl Magic, you guys. 22 years old. I mean, do you understand that the dictionary, this is like the dictionary, you know, that is the literal literary Bible to try to, you know, when you come to defining words, this is what it is, you know. So for her to actually have her hand in actually making the definition be more pertaining to what is happening in the world today, like, I think that that is fantastic. And for a 22-year-old girl to really affect the history of the word like that, as it's defined and as the people know it, I think that's something to be commended. So, you know, like I said, fist pump of righteousness for Kennedy Mitchum. Oh, and I forgot, I got another fist pump of righteousness for y'all, that Black Girl Magic. That would be Sabrina Fulton. You guys know that name. That is the mother of Trayvon Martin. Remember, our hearts broke with her. Our souls was crushed with her when we saw that he was killed and that his murderer was not brought to justice. I used to feel so sorry when I would see her and she would have this, I always feel like those mothers have this look on their face like it's just like they are just pushing down a scream. They trying to make sure that they keep things maintained. But Sabrina was one, and also Mike Brown's mother was another one. And now even Ahmaud Arbery, when I look at his mother, it looks like a very controlled, like they just want to scream that their babies are gone. But I know that Mike Brown's mother also was getting involved in local government. And now we have Sabrina Fulton, who she's running for the commissioner. She is now able to run for commissioner in November in Dade County down there in Miami. So good for her, because she finally looks like she is doing what she, was put here to do. It is very unfortunate and very sad that her son had to die, for this course of her life to happen. But she said that she now knows that she would never have sacrificed her son, but that changed her course. And the reason why she has decided that she wants to be a part of changing the laws and the rules that happen down there in Miami. And I think that this is just a great thing. I see her, she looks settled and she looks like she's determined. And I really wish I could vote for her down there in Miami, because I would. Okay, so yeah. Fist pump of righteousness. You ain't gonna get enough of this black girl magic now, are you? All right, you guys, so NASCAR denounces the Confederate flag, which is huge. It is a huge deal. The Confederate flag has been synonymous with NASCAR for as long as I've known. And because of the Confederate flag, I don't think many black people even try to go to any of the events. Why are we trying to be in a venue when the Confederate flag? Now, when I first moved to Atlanta, I would see the Confederate flag on the back of people's pickups and things, and it was unsettling to me. I couldn't believe that I moved to a place where people just proudly drove around. Like, did I learn something different on the West Coast that they wasn't doing on the, Southeast Coast? Like, what's happening here? And if that's just unsettling for me to see it on a bumper sticker, do you know how weird it would be to be in a whole venue surrounded by thousands and thousands of people who are wearing it proudly and got it big ass flags on their trucks? And no, we're not doing that. I'm not going to nothing like that. And I think that it had become the culture of NASCAR to just keep us away by making sure that they kept that Confederate flag. Now, I know that they made it seem like, it's a part of our history. And okay, it is a part of your history. Just like lynching is a part of our history, but we ain't going around, celebrating that black people was hung from trees. Just because it's a part of the history doesn't mean a shit is to be celebrated. If you're going to have this flag, we ain't coming. But that's probably what they meant. Well, now NASCAR has said, and I quote, "The presence of the Confederate flag at NASCAR events run contrary to our commitment to providing a welcoming and inclusive environment for all fans, our competitors, and our industry. Bringing people together around the love for racing and the community that it creates is what makes our fans and sports special." Okay, so I don't know who prepared that for them, but that's what they're saying. And I guess there's many that aren't happy about this. I mean, you can imagine. Okay, and I still would be, as a black person, be very afraid of going. Like, it's going to take some time for me to go, because now they're going to be pissed that more black people are coming because we done got rid of their history. So I don't see us really trying to rush up to no NASCAR events just yet. It's not like they have much representation as racers. I think there's only one race car driver that is black. That's a part of the NASCAR thing, So NASCAR has a long ways to go. And the only way that I'll believe that now, even though that Confederate flag thing is big, that is big, you guys. But the only way that I'll believe that they truly mean that, they want to make some changes is they start adding, people to their board that's really, serious and black. I'm sorry, Jada's walking up. Okay, you ready to go? Give me 2 more minutes, okay? But yeah, so we'll see what happens with NASCAR, you guys. Y'all planning on going to any races anytime soon? And then lastly, in Quickies, you guys, Evelyn Lozada made it very clear that Carl Crawford has never hit her in their 4-year engagement. People was like, y'all was engaged 4 years. I was like, honey, she was engaged to the other one 11 years. You know, Evelyn don't get married. She just like to be engaged all the time. But Carl Crawford was recently arrested for beating his girlfriend up, pulling a gun on her, okay, and threatening her. So I guess people were saying that Evelyn went through the same thing. She made it clear that she did not go through that. Carl Crawford has been having some bad times. It's between his legal issues with Meg the Stallion, and then a woman and her child drowned in his pool at his house. He was not out there, but they drowned, and now they're saying that the baby father is suing Carl Crawford, which is, I believe many people probably would have done the same. He's responsible. He's liable for his pool and his property. So yeah, Carl Crawford is not having good times right now. But Evelyn said absolutely not. She was never hit. They did not have that type of relationship. And lastly, while we're talking about domestic violence, Faith was arrested for beating up Stevie J. And now she's back home and they're working on it. Stevie J said that he loves his wife. There's no way that they're, breaking up. So we'll see. They seemed very happy, but their relationship came out of the blue. It was weird for many of us. So we just had to try to get used to this whole idea of Stevie and Faith. But he says he's there for the long haul, you guys. All right, got to get off of here. Jada's got to go. You guys, we do this every single week, so make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.